really happy to be a part of this day and really excited about being a part of this league. We're really excited about the upcoming season. Our players work really hard, but there's been really some real unrealistic expectations placed upon this football team. And the thing we're going to have to do as a team is a lot of questions has to be answered. Number one, will we be a team that can continue to focus week in and week out? Can we be a team that's going to be prepared week in and week out? Is this going to be a team that's going to get complacent? I know that now we've been picked to win the conference. I think about 4 years ago, just standing here, and we were picked last. Even the next year, the second year, we were picked last. Last year, we were picked to win it, and this year, we picked to win it. So 2 years, we've been picked last, and then the previous two, now these next two, we've been picked to go win this conference. But it's attributed to the hard work that our players have made over the years. And I'm so excited. Think back just how far this program have come and what we put in this program. Our coaching staff has done a great job. Our players have done a great job. Now it's all about us. Can we adapt and can we change? And can we continue to move this program forward? We want to make this one of the best programs in the country. And the only way that's going to happen is our players have to continue to work hard. Our players have to continue to prepare hard. Our coaches have to continue to work hard. Our coaches have to continue to prepare hard. But we're really excited about this upcoming season, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
We'll take questions for Coach Strong. Just raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone over to you. Please introduce yourself for the benefit of Coach as well.
Morning, Charlie. Ralph Russo from the Associated Press. How is Teddy handled? A lot more attention, publicity, and how is he equipped, do you think, to handle that as the season starts when it becomes a possible distraction?
Well, I think that Teddy is an amazing young man, but he is surrounded by some outstanding players himself. But he's a very humble young man. And if you look at him, just watching him grow over the years, he's loaded with a ton of athletic ability, but just getting to know him as a person. And Teddy understands that, at first, I think that when you look back, he really didn't want this team, and he didn't want to be the leader of this team. But just the way he has grown and developed, he has no choice now. And he's ready to welcome that challenge. But it's been fun to just watch his development. And I think that he can handle it. I think that he knows what's ahead of him and what he has to get accomplished.
Other questions for Coach, please?
Hi, C.L. Brown with the Courier-Journal. Charlie, you've always been one to kind of take statistics and use them as motivation. How will you use the 2 votes that you guys didn't get, that it wasn't unanimous? I mean, we've been hearing a lot the whole offseason about, what this season was going to be for you guys, but it wasn't a unanimous decision.
No, I won't take those 2 votes because our team, what we try to do as a football team and what I try to do each and every week is not so much that we focus on the opponent, but we focus on ourselves. And what's key for us is that we have to get better and see if we can go be the best each and every day as a player. And if our players can go develop each and every day, then they know that their ability and what they had to try to get accomplished. So it's not so much that we have to worry about the opponent, but let's worry about ourselves, and let's take it game by game, which we will, but let's make sure that as a player that we're getting better and we're giving every effort and everything that we have to give to make this program a good program.
Hi, Coach. Steve Andrus, WDRB in Louisville.
Right.
I know you told Pete that you're still in the decision process on Michael Dyer, and I know you're limited on what you can say about that, but what would you say to those who would say bringing in a player like that potentially would go against some of the core values that you put up in your office?
Well, he's not a part of our program, and when you talk about it, he hasn't been a part of our program. Our core values are within our program, and it is the men that in our program, and they understand our core values and what it is, what they're all about. But it's for the players that are within our program.
Hey, Charlie, Len Robbins, New York Post. Two-part question for you. When it comes to Teddy, what have you learned about him as a person away from football that maybe you didn't know during the recruiting process that has sort of wowed you?
Well, the thing that Teddy has is strong faith, and I didn't know it during the recruiting process, but his mom is, with her illness, and then with him watching that happen to her, it just made him stronger. And what she's done, not only with Teddy, with their other children, she's made them, they're really strong kids, and they can handle any adversity within their life, and that's why he's been able to overcome the adversities that he's had in his life because of his upbringing.
I know you just mentioned unrealistic expectations, but you also said that you want to be the best football program in the country. What would him winning a Heisman mean for your program?
What would be with him winning the
If
Heisman
he
be
won
for
the
our
Heisman,
program?
what would it be for your program?
Well, it would speak volumes of our program and just where we've come from and just his individual effort and what he's put into it. But, what we like to do is so much social media, we don't have to push him for that Heisman because just how he plays is going to determine what he does and how this team plays with the Heisman Trophy and where it's going to end up for him.
Charlie, Eric Crawford from WDRB. I know you've coached teams that were coming back from national championships. Is this challenge of coaching this team any different as you see it from others that you've seen? Is there any you can compare it to?
Well, I think about it, Gary, and I think about that team in '09 and when Tebow made an announcement that he was coming back. And on defense that year, we had 21 or 22 returners coming back at Florida. And then offensively, you had Tebow, you had Percy Harvin, you had the Pounceys, you had Riley Cooper. You had some really outstanding players coming back. And what happened with that football team, which I don't want to see happen with our team, is that winning became a sigh of relief. And it was like you win a game, you'd be like, oh, we won the game, and then you get on to the next one. And luckily, we did not lose a game until that last game against Alabama in a championship game, and it was devastating. And that's what I want to see happen to our team, is that a loss become devastating to our program. Because it's going to be we're going to have to overcome some adversity. There's going to be some games where we're not going to play well. It's going to be some games where we're going to be favored, and we may walk out there with a 3-point victory. But who cares? We won a game where people are going to say you didn't beat them by 30. But it's all about us and just making sure that we maintain our focus and making sure that, guys, at the end of the day, just win the football game. And when I'm not going to allow that to happen where winning becomes a sigh of relief. Hey, we're happy. Now let's go get on with the next opponent, but let's enjoy this win.
Hey, Charlie. Paul Meyerberg with USA Today. There's a lot of changes in the league, some holdovers, a lot of new members. Do you feel that across the board you guys kind of have a bullseye on your back due to the nature of last season, the way you finished, and the kind of expectations for this year? Is that inherent to being the defending conference champs, or do you feel this is heightened because of the expectations?
Well, I just think that our program is nowhere near where it should be, and we will always be a team that's always looking to improve. We'll always be a team that's going to be the hunter. There's no bullseye on our back, because a lot of times I think when you talk about having a bullseye on your back, it means that you feel like that you reach a level where you're stopping, you don't want to grow anymore. But we want to continue to grow, so we're always going to be the hunter. And then when we're looking for teams, and I know there's a lot of teams out there, and you talk about this league, this is an outstanding league. There's some really good really good teams in this league with some outstanding football players. So by no means do we think that we are the top level team in this league. Each and every week we're going to have to go out and prove it. And, you think about Cincinnati, they were picked second. There's Rutgers still in this league. There's South Florida, there's Central Florida, there's Connecticut, SMU. So there's some really good teams in this league. So let's not overlook anyone. Let's not think we're better than anyone else.
Charlie, Jody Dimling with Cardinal Authority. When you came in, you guys used a lot of freshmen the first 2 years. You had to use a lot of freshmen. This year, the competition, can you just talk about what it's going to be like in preseason, the competition, especially on offense, maybe at wide receiver, and how guys are going to get better because you've got so much depth now that you've built through recruiting?
Well, you like to think, Jody, that now we have enough players in the league where we can go and practice now and feel good about practicing, and where you feel like if for some reason you do lose a player, that you have someone, a comparable backup who can come in and replace them. And that's what we're trying to do during the recruiting process, to continue to build depth within our program and making sure that, just making sure that you have really outstanding players that can go replace a player. But I was just thinking, I was looking at our defensive backs, and I told Vance, I said, we have what what we call field corner. And I said, we standing here with 4 scholarship guys at field corner, which has never been before. And I, just thinking back just over the years, you may have a couple of scholarship players and a couple of walk-ons, but it's like that, and we're continuing to build, and we need to. We need to continue to build. We need to build our offensive and defensive line the way we're building our skill position. Because if you look at the wide receiver position, you can go Devontae Parker, you go Cope, you go Eli Rogers, you go now with Milton coming in as a transfer that's coming in. Robert Clark is a transfer. There's James Quick. At the tight end position, you go B.J. Butler, you go Gerald Christen, you go Jalen Harrington, you go Hubble. So you're building some guys there, which we've never had before. So now that we need to continue to build, the way we built at the skill position, we need to build like that at the offense and defensive line.
Time for maybe one more for Coach Strong, please.
You talked earlier about the noise, and you say that a lot. How do you keep this team focused and not listen to the outside noise, the expectations? How do you keep this team focused when you get them in camp?
Well, the theme for us is going to be either we're growing or we're dying. If we're growing, we're trying to get better each and every day, and we're trying to improve the program. If we are dying, we'll be a program that's going to just want to maintain. We don't want to go get better. We'll become complacent. And that's what we can't do. We can't become complacent. We can't be self-absorbed, or we get cocky, we get arrogant, because there's still a lot of questions, and then this team still have a lot of room for improvement. And like I said, we're nowhere near where we should be, and we can get better. You look at the games that we lost last year. We're sitting there, we're playing pretty good. We're 8-0. We go to Syracuse, they slap us pretty good. We come back at home against Connecticut, they beat us. Then we had to go into a game where we have to go win on the road against Rutgers. I tell them all the time, guys, the measuring stick of this team is going to be measured to that Florida game. And we played very well in that game, so now everyone is going to expect you to play each game the way you played in that game, and it's not going to happen. So let's not get full of ourselves, and let's not think that we have all the answers, because the moment you do, you will walk into a game, you'll get into a week where you won't practice well, and then you'll go get it put on you pretty good, and then it'll be a wake-up call. We don't need any wake-up calls. We need to hit that alarm button before somebody come in there and put it on is really good. So it's going to be about us just making sure that we maintain our focus, and the preparation has to be there, the commitment has to be there, the right attitude. Our players need to have an attitude of each and every week, that attitude of myself. I want to go get better as a coach, as a player, as a whole program. And if that happens within our program, then we have a chance. But we have to make sure that happens, and it happens each and every day. And then if that happens, then we'll be able to carry it on through the year.
Coach, we thank you for your time today.